My name is Rebekah. I'm here at the Homeschool Connection on our blog, What's Your Brew? And a brew is a mixture of people, events, or things that come together and form a more potent whole. And so that's what we're kind of trying to do here, is help your whole be so much better by giving some tips and tricks on homeschooling and educational things. And so on Tuesday, we talked about traction with fractions, some things you can do to really help you, why fractions are so important, firstly, and then secondly, why some things you can do to help that. So today we're going to kind of follow up with that, and we're going to talk about a couple more things you can do to really work on fractions. We're going to go kind of quickly through those things. Again, this week I have been out at our church camp with our teenagers, and so I think I'm too old to do that now. We've been staying up till 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning, like 4 days in a row, and then getting up at 6:30. I'm starting to get tired. I don't know if I used to be able to hang in there like a pro, but not so much. So I need my special brew today to really get me going. So I was thinking, whenever I have people ask me with fractions, they always ask me, well, what can I do at home, maybe to help me get a little more practice or get some things that I can do at home. So here's 3 different curriculums I thought about that can be really helpful when you're working with fractions. First of all, there's a curriculum called Life of Fred. Now, Life of Fred is written kind of in a story way, and I don't really consider it a full curriculum, but it is a great supplement. I do not think it is a full curriculum because there isn't enough practice. But really, the story about Life of Fred is a little boy named Fred, and he's an orphan, and he is a math genius. And he is a college professor, and he has a llama that lives in his office with him, and he teaches math at college. And so he has lots of different adventures with him and his llama. And the younger books are topic-based. So there's an entire book, they're pretty thin hardback books that are just on fractions. It is so great to go back and redo it. It goes through lesson, and there's a story with each one. And boys particularly really like the stories. I mean, I think they're hilarious. They're really funny. They crack me up. So when you read their stories and the adventures, and then the problems go with the story. So it makes it a little more applicable. I think it is a great supplement, something you can definitely do at home with it. And he actually goes all the way up to past calculus with these books. I think he even has linear algebra, and he has a statistics book. So he very good at math. It's very well presented. I really like their geometry book too. So Life of Fred is a really good one. You can get just the fractions book. They have an addition, multiplication, division, subtraction, or I think I said that already. And they have fractions, decimals, percents. I think there's 2 different percent books. So look them up. Life of Fred is a great resource. The second thing I really like is Drops in the Bucket. So Drops in the Bucket is a daily workbook. And again, you can get that topic-based. It's just a front sheet of paper, and you just do the worksheet once a day. And I think, again, that's a great supplement for something to do every day. Now, my ultimate favorite is Rebekah's speed drills. So they are timed, but you don't have to use the time on it. Usually they're 2 or 3 minutes long. And if you're really working on the fractions, the 4th grade speed drills book is great. So it's a 2 or 3 minute drill. Usually there's 4 on a page, so it's made for you to do about 4 in a week. And then a quiz. That is one of my favorite because you're getting it every day. And it's made to do with the regular book, but it can also be done during the summer or as an extra supplement if you're using a different curriculum. So those are my 3 resources if you're really looking for something to do at home. Now you can also go to the store, and there's lots of resources that just have books on fractions or just things like that. But I can't overemphasize the importance of repetition. Repetition is the key to learning. And if you don't use it, you will lose it. A lot of times kids will know how to do it, and then we forget because we don't keep practicing. I think that's the same with all of us too. I mean, it comes back. we can remember it quickly, but we always need to have that refresher all the time to keep up and remember how to do it. And you know, the more you do something, the easier it becomes. And it's the same thing with us. So the biggest thing you can do to help your child with fractions is teach them a lesson or a skill, and then keep reviewing that skill. A lot of times too, I think for fractions, we try to rush it too quickly. So don't worry if you are not keeping up with the pacing that maybe a curriculum has. A curriculum is just a guide, and we make it work for our students and our children for what pace they can go at. So sometimes it's really important to make sure you have a specific skill down before you move on to the next skill too. So usually we start with equivalent fractions. Then after you make fractions equal to each other, so what you do to the top, you can do to the bottom, things like that. Make sure that they really understand that before we move on. So many times we try to rush them through and they don't really get those little basic things in fractions and they forget them. So I guess my big tip would be, if you're working on it, make sure you continue to work on it every day. Continue to do a skill. Don't move on a skill until you are sure that that skill is completed or learned. And on Pinterest and lots of different places, there are lots and lots of worksheets you could do. You can't overdo a worksheet. I feel like, well, you can. Actually, you can. You can do too many problems, because usually our brain is set up with about 10 units, and you can use up the units in your brain. Once you use up too many units, you're out of units, or we call it being stressed out. Well, that's what happens sometimes with kids when we give them too much of one thing. So those are my couple tips this week for that. I think that hopefully that was helpful. Follow the blog. We will have some other worksheets, some really good hands-on things for fractions. Some kids really need that extra visual to see how it's done, and so there's lots of great visuals for fractions, making them equal. If you're looking for something that is very visual, I would suggest Right Start. Right Start is a different type of math program. It doesn't really have workbooks or practice. It's mostly just games and drills that you do every day, and that, I think, for some kids is really helpful. So the Right Start, and I think it's about 4th grade, they really introduce those fractions. So that's also another great resource you can use. So please let me know if that was helpful. Hopefully, if you have any more questions on resources or things you can use to work with fractions, I hope you will let us know. And if you can, follow us, share, like us on Facebook, and we're on YouTube channel, and also our blog is www.thehomeschoolconnection.net, and you can click on the side of the blog, The Brew, and there will be some links there for some other resources today. So I hope you all have a great day and enjoy that.